Hey everyone, this is Ms. Moffat from across the Litiverse, and I'm testing out the A to Z Bookish Survey. And yes, I'm Canadian and we say Z here. Let's get this book tag rolling. I've seen this survey book tag hybrid pop up a number of times on BookTube, and you know me. I cannot resist a tag of bookish origins. The A to Z Bookish Survey is an original book tag from Perpetual Page Turner, and I've left a link to her blog below. I'd also recommend you check out Kristen's video over at Super Space Chick and Cece's video over at Problems of a Book Nerd, and I've left links to both videos below should it suit your fancy. Otherwise, follow me through the alphabet. A is for author you've read the most, and the winner is Mr. Chuck Palahniuk. I read Fight Club when I was impressionable and 17, and I've never looked back. Although I do wish I had a different cover. According to Wikipedia, Palahniuk has written 18 books, and I've read 11 of them. In second place is Brian Jock's Redwall series, in which I've read 10 books. Very different reading tastes, I know. B is for best sequel ever. So, fun Moffat fact, I tend to read standalone books. I don't even think I could answer this question unless we're talking about comic books or manga. If that's the case, I'd argue every subsequent volume of Planetary gets better and richer as you go. And then when you reread the first volume and realize how amazing and well connected it is to the entire narrative, it just keeps spiraling out from there. C is for currently reading. I'm in the middle of the first light novel from the Sword Art Online series. My current impression is meh. D is for drink of choice while reading. Tea! All the tea, though especially green tea. Since it's summer, there's more iced tea making its way into the mix, but yes, tea is a staple when it comes to my reading. E is for ebook or physical book. And I'm gonna vote on spelling physical with an E and go with physical books. I want to like my e-reader, but it's causing me so many problems right now. I might need to film a video rant at this point. F is for fictional character you probably would have dated in high school. I can think of ideal characters I would have wanted to date in high school, but realistically, I think it would have been Kakeru from Orange. I was often drawn to people who it turned out were struggling with mighty hefty mental health issues, and Kakeru is the spitting image of that type. G is for glad you gave this book a chance. From a practical standpoint, I'm gonna have to go with The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I don't often read organizational books, and I'm often skeptical of buzzworthy books, but this one was legitimately helpful. I tend to get attached to physical objects, and this book helped me get rid of things that weren't serving me anymore. Thank you, Marie Kondo. H is for hidden gem book. I would pick anything by Banana Yoshimoto. I don't know that she's got a high profile in North America, but she's got such an amazing, quiet, detailed approach to her characters' inner lives. Her most recent book is called The Lake, and it's about two people who embark on a hesitant romance while both dealing with the traumatic loss of a loved one. Not the lightest reading, but it's gorgeous nonetheless. I is for important moment in your reading life. Honestly, it was probably starting my BookTube channel and getting to interact with readers around the world. I get so many fantastic book recommendations from you guys, and I love having the excuse to talk about books with fellow book nerds from all different backgrounds. J is for just finished. I just finished The Glass Castle by Jeanette Walls, and I'm still tussling with some of the events from this book. I might need to film a review video just to air them out. K is for kinds of books you won't read. I don't go for thrillers and mysteries that often, and I don't go for multi-generational family stories. L is for the longest book you've read. I read The Chronicles of Narnia as a single volume, and that was 842 pages. In terms of standalone volumes, I read The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, and that was 722 pages. M is for major book hangover because of The Book Thief by Marcus Zizek. I went into solid book mourning for The Book Thief, and I wallowed there for 6 months. Honestly, if you look at my reading list from that year, it's shocking how little I read after The Book Thief. Curse your brilliance, Marcus Zizek! N is for number of bookcases you own. I own 2. Despite being an avid reader, I'm okay with getting rid of books. I only keep the ones I've reread multiple times. O is for one book you've read multiple times. Most of the books on my shelves. Well, I've read Fight Club about 4 or 5 times. I read the novelization of The Phantom about 1 million times because I was that kid. I've read The Night Circus about 3 times now. I own a lot of rereads. P is for preferred place to read. I like being as cozy as possible, and I often read on my bed nestled in a bunch of pillows. In the summer, I like sitting outside under an umbrella. Q is for a quote that inspires you from a book you've read. In high school, I read a poem by James Elroy Flecker that's always stayed with me. It's called To a Poet 1,000 Years from Hence, and the haunting lines are as follows. I'm gonna read this one for you. So the last 2 stanzas are, O friend, unseen, unborn, unknown, student of the sweet English tongue, read out my words at night, alone. I was a poet. I was young. Since I can never see your face and never shake you by the hand, I send my soul through time and space to greet you you will understand. And I do understand that for sure. R is for reading regret. I regret not tracking my reading earlier. I have a few lists of books I read when I was younger, but I wish I could remember more of the books that formed me as a reader. There was one book I read every year when I was in elementary school, and I cannot remember the title for the life of me. So frustrating. S is for a series that you've started that you need to finish, where all the books are out right now. Again, I don't read many book series, but I do need to catch up on the Dresden Files. I know the series isn't finished yet, but by the time I get around to reading it all, I'm sure it will be finished. T is for 3 of your all-time favorite books. First is The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak, and The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. You should read them and tell me what you think. U is for unapologetic fangirl for shoujo manga. Give me Library Wars, Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, and Maid-sama any day. V is for very excited for this release. This fall is looking absolutely stacked, but I'm gonna have to go with Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. I'm at the point where I'm so nervous for him, and I want people to like this book, and I want him to be able to break out of the mold of being the author of The Fault in Our Stars. W is for worst bookish habit. I let my books languish in a TBR pile, but I am trying to deal with it this year. That and putting a million library books on hold and then not having time to read them because they all show up at the same time. X is for X marks the spot. So you have to start at the top left of your bookshelf and pick the 27th book, and I'm gonna pick this shelf here. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28. Oh, 27. Okay. So 27 is a book called Prester John. So I like collecting old books, and this one was published in 1910, but I believe this edition was published in 1960. I just thought it was neat because I like old books. Y is for your latest book purchase. Mine was the latest volume of Maid-sama. I still have to read it, but a part of me doesn't want to because I don't want it to end. And Z will have to be Americanized because it's called the Z Snatcher, or the last book that kept you up way late. And that will be House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I stayed up to read it because I was too scared to fall asleep. Now, dear viewer, I welcome you to take a walk through the alphabet. And how does your reading stack up to this survey? If you like this video, or maybe if you say Z as well, make sure to give it a thumbs up to support this channel. As always, thank you for watching, and make sure to subscribe for more videos from across the Litiverse. On that note, signing off. Over at Problems of a Book Nerd, and yes, I've left links to both videos below should it shoot your fancy. Oh, somebody's texting me.